the BBC that the government will ditch the eastern leg of HS2 between Birmingham and Leeds. The Department for Transport will announce an update on the rail plan on Thursday. We can talk now to Gareth Dennis, rail engineer and writer. Thank you for joining us. What do you think about that decision?
Yeah, it's pretty catastrophic. Given that we've just had COP26 reaching a close, with mixed success, admittedly, we realise, transport is the UK's largest source of greenhouse gas emissions. Britain's railways need to double their capacity by 2050, and the only way we're going to achieve that is by building HS2 and by building Northern Powerhouse Rail. Those are the two absolutely critical elements in expanding Britain's rail capacity. This is part of the problem with people thinking that HS2 is all about speed, it's all about journey times, because it allows government to go, well, it's only, you're only losing 15, 20 minutes if you don't build the section between, the East Midlands and Leeds. When in actual fact, that's a trivial import. That's the least important, arguably, part of HS2. The most important thing is that you get those fast trains off the existing network onto these new lines, freeing up capacity for more regional services, more local services, and more freight. So, big hit.
So, what about what the government says it is? The source said the package later this week would deliver a quicker and cheaper programme, including, which we've already talked about, the upgrades to existing lines. The source said the plans would show an enormous amount of common sense, and also mentioning that tram service for these that I mentioned. You're shaking your head when I was reading that out.
Common sense isn't a replacement for steel rails on a piece of infrastructure dedicated to improving capacity across the whole country. I'm afraid that the line being fed by government just doesn't match the engineering and the planning reality. The idea that that this is anything other than a cancellation, a massive reduction in rail capacity in the proposed projects. The government's banding. The point of HS2 is that those services, those new services that it would enable, is not the HS2 services, it's the chance for those regional connections into cities like Nottingham, into Derby, into Leicester, into Mansfield, into, and across the places like Newark, Grantham, Peterborough. These are the places that would be benefiting, not to mention Doncaster, Sheffield, Leeds. Regional and urban services, suburban services running into these cities. HS2 enables many more of those. If you don't build the new high-speed segregated, critically that's the word, segregated infrastructure, if you don't build the segregated infrastructure, you just don't get those benefits in those cities.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.